Good morning. Good morning. It is officially 7:20 here in Hawaii. We started the show a little bit late to give our guest host some time to come in on this stream. So we have her in the studios, but I wanted to welcome you all to Morning Cup with Mr. Wells. So, I do this show on Saturday mornings, and today I got my cup. Yes, because Felicia Walker, you did let me know I didn't have my cup. But thank y'all for tuning in. It's a little bit fuzzy here right now. It's a little high humidity, so my camera is not as clear as I'd like. Sorry, I had to get a sip. Throat was a little dry. But again, this is one of my favorite coffee cups that y'all always see me with. It says, "Life is better with coffee." Uh, it says in flip flops in coffee. No, but it says flip flops. But I like this one because it's kind of unique to Hawaii. Because everybody out here wears flip flops. Like if you go into their houses, you will see a line of flip flops everywhere. So yeah, everybody wears flip flops out here. It's freaking amazing. And yeah, and they probably only have about one pair of shoes, but they got like mountains of flip flops everywhere. So without further ado, we're going to introduce Shy AFQ Queen. She's in the studio. I see her getting ready and all glamified. So I'm going to bring her onto the camera and allow her to introduce herself. So let me bring her in. Hey, Miss Queen.
Hey, Mr. Wells, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing excellent.
See, I got a problem though because I heard you talking about your coffee cup. Where's my coffee cup? Where's the Queen's coffee cup? Cause she been waiting on this for a little minute. Okay. Oh, he left me by myself. Whatever. Let me talk stuff about him
No,
then.
I'm just kidding.
Look, I'm like, let me talk stuff about him then. Since he want to go somewhere, don't play with me, Mr. Wells. Okay? Cause I want my crack in the coffee cup. Okay.
Yes, so those are coming. Yours is actually being exclusively made by someone that you referred me to. So she's going to be getting your stuff to you ASAP. But we'll be doing the unveiling of that cup once you get it. And she also got a
Okay.
little surprise for you as well. So your stuff is coming. So thank you so much for reminding me.
Yes, of course. Always, always, of course. I wasn't going to condemn you yet. You know what I'm saying? Luckily, you're not in Chicago anymore, so I can't even call you one of my subjects right now, but it's okay. You'll be back.
Absolutely. So
Ah,
we're gonna just
so
start
yes,
off.
I'm actually waiting on my cup of coffee right now. No, I'm just playing.
Uh,
I'm just playing.
oh,
I don't
see,
talk to people like
you
that.
gotta be ready. Even when you ain't ready, you gotta be ready.
Exactly. I'm like, where's my coffee? But it's okay. It's on the way. This is my little cousin. I thank her so much. I am not that type of queen, people, to really be trying to be out here bossing people around. At least not in no rude way. Okay. I do like
Right.
suggest and hint and let people know, like, hey, maybe we should do this. How about you do that? Yeah.
Suggestive. And
Yes.
it makes it feel like they're the ones who made the decision.
Just a little
Absolutely.
bit. Just a little bit.
That is a great management strategy to empower your employees to get them to do what you want without them even realizing that they are doing what you want them to do.
Exactly. Exactly.
Love
That's how
it.
you got to do it. That's how you got to do it. You almost got to like, because people are getting smarter. You know what I'm saying? They're just not as pliable anymore. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to like get in their mind, get in their
Yeah,
mindset. You got to talk to them a certain type of way.
absolutely. But I'm definitely glad that we have people that are using their right and left a lot more because before in the dark ages, we were very pliable. We would just believe if you said, the sun was orange, even though we see it's yellow, we're gonna believe that it's orange. You
Mhm.
would change our whole
Mhm.
mindset and make us think yellow is orange. So yeah, I'm
Yes.
glad to see more people are waking up. I'm glad to see people more, using their left and right and seeing when something doesn't seem right. It's just not,
Right.
and we're not just
Sure enough.
accepting that as the truth. And I really love this thing. I don't know if you see on TikTok or Yahoo, they have this thing where black people when black people hear something that just don't make sense, and everybody make that one face that we all make. Yeah, so I love
I
that
haven't
video
seen
because
that one. I can only imagine. I've not seen that one yet.
it's amazing. Like I swear for living, it is a universal face that all black people do make when something just don't sound right. We all cock
Mm-hmm.
our heads to the left or the right and just look at you like you are boo boo the fool. So
What the fuck is that? Look, what the fuck is that? What the hell's going on? What the fuck? Like that look?
yes, absolutely that look.
Oh, we filled it to the brim.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Look, if she's walking very slowly to not spill, so I appreciate that.
Oh, she filled
Thank
your cup all the
you.
way up.
You know what, with the, I'm not even gonna say excuse. The comment was, no, that's what your sugar did. Your sugar did that. Now I ain't gonna lie, I do like sugar in my coffee. Okay, my
Okay,
grandmother.
so that's a coffee foul.
What?
You do not
Hold
put.
on. Let me explain my story. Let me explain my story. Let me tell you what's up. So, in order to introduce me to coffee at like the age of 2 or 3, my grandmother put a whole bunch of sugar in it.
Oh wow.
Okay. Yeah. So it's like ever since I was a kid, and we're talking about, like I said, 2 or 3 years old. My grandma is a huge coffee drinker. Okay. And to get all of her grandkids on it, she put hella sugar in it.
Oh wow. Is that a
Look,
black
my
thing?
little
Because
cousin over
that's
there
how
like
we
show
do it.
did.
I
Huh?
think that's something synonymous to being black. Because when I remember when I was little, like I did not like eating rice, but when my mama sprinkled some sugar on it, I ate that rice up. Same thing with grits. Even though
Yep.
there are black people who's gonna tell me you do not put sugar on grits, lies. I eat sugar with grits, and it's
Mm.
amazing, especially with the melted butter. But I could do it the other way
Listen,
too.
listen. I'm sorry. I've never cared for grits in my life. However, I am definitely with the shrimp and grits gang. Like
Oh
shrimp
yeah,
and grits.
shrimp and grits. Yes,
Listen,
absolutely.
I'm on that. I'm on
That's
that.
amazing.
Shrimp and
I
grits
tried
is
that
my
for the
shit.
first time, and I love it when you go down south. That's the
Mm,
best place to get some shrimp and grits. Like when we went down to Mississippi,
mm,
I had the best shrimp and grits I ever had. And I don't know what they do down south with their chicken, but
mm.
I've had plenty of fried chicken in my life. But theirs was so moist, and it was white meat that was moist. I
See,
was like, "What lies is this? Like, why is this
see.
so good?"
You know what the
Oh my
problem
god!
was? You know what the problem is? The
What's that?
Great Migration. All right.
Mm.
When our people left to come up to the north, you know what I'm saying? They done forgot all they down home, down south training. So
Yes,
now
they did.
we don't get the good fried chicken and all that other type of stuff that
No,
is
we don't.
only like set in the south. But it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, we gonna get it. We gonna get it back. We
I
gonna get
don't
that
know
back.
how. I don't know how. I ain't gonna lie. Like my grandma know how to sew, and I tried to have her teach me, and I just couldn't. I couldn't grasp the concept. So I don't even
Really?
know if we're gonna get to that point. I don't know. I don't know. I'm hoping. I'm hoping. We need to really dig down in our roots, like us in Chicago when our parents, migrated in like the 20s or the 40s or whenever. Like we need to find out what them roots is down south. I feel like all of us got family out of Mississippi, Alabama, somewhere.
Oh yes, absolutely we do. And it's really good, like that you are cautious that you don't know how to do certain things, but you're willing to learn how to do it.
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
really key. Like just because you don't know how to do nothing right now doesn't mean you can't be taught and you can't figure it out. And you
This
don't
is
have to
true.
be an expert in it. You just got to learn the basics. Because I'm
Yeah.
the type of person, because I'm in business, there's a lot of things I don't know, but I hire people who do know that stuff. But I'm going to learn the basics so that way I'm not going to get duped. Like I'm not an accountant, but I'm going to learn what
Right.
an accountant does so that way I can make sure my money and coins are being counted correctly and not
Got
have a
to.
situation like Selena. Like we all know what happened with that beautiful
Yeah.
Latina where,
Yeah.
her accountant, ended her life unfortunately because she didn't want to get caught up that she was stealing from him. So I definitely don't want that to be an issue with me. I want to know my
Hmm.
basics of everything that I'm supposed to know. but hire people
Hmm.
who've got the expertise to actually do the job correctly.
Right. No, and then sometimes, when you really in them coins like that, you hire the second accountant to check the first accountant. You know what I'm saying? Got that extra
Yes,
secret accountant that the first and the second don't even know about. Right?
right. But what's that golden rule? You never let your right hand know what your left hand is doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we ain't
Mm.
gonna let them
That's how they
know.
go.
Oh, hey, Miss Joanna, how you doing? That's my
Hey.
little baby. That's my little baby sister. Who she's always gonna be my baby sister, no matter what. She's
Hey,
literally
baby
1 year
sis.
younger than me.
You petty. You petty.
We are
Y'all
Gemini
basically
twins.
twins. Y'all
We are. We're
basically
actually
twins.
Gemini twins. She's born on May 27th. I'm born on May 22nd. So we're born a
Oh.
year and 5 days exactly apart.
I see your
So
mama got a certain time that she like to.
I don't know how the hell she did that though. Exactly a year and 5 days apart, she created two Geminis. But my
Listen, when
baby
you
brother, he's like 13 years younger than me, so I don't like him.
oh
He'll
damn,
shoot
you
me. He's
petty.
one of the. I'm very petty when it comes to that. I want to be the baby. I ain't want no siblings. No, I'm just kidding. I love my siblings. They give
Nah,
me
he
a
for
headache,
real.
but I
Look,
wouldn't trade my siblings for the world. So.
that's what's up. I was like, nah, he for real. But nah, you okay? Okay, man. Okay, Mr. Wells, I hear you. I hear you.
Oh yeah, see, I'm a very family oriented person, so I love doing things with my family. So I love doing family events. I love that's why with Cracking the Cup, you will see us host certain events, and it's always family themed because that's what's really true and close to my heart. Like I really want to see the unity of family. I want to see the two parent household in our community, and I want to start showing more two parent households in the minority community because a lot of people always assume that that doesn't exist, and it's
No, it
not true.
definitely exists. It definitely exists. You
Yes,
know,
I know you are a two parent household child.
I was. I definitely was brought up in a two parent household. Let me just say though, and you know what? And this, I'm glad that you bring up this point because I'm not necessarily playing devil's advocate, but I definitely think that it's important for people to know that we as Black people have two parent households. Don't just make the assumption that somebody only has a single mom or you know what I'm saying, a single dad. Which it, but how I feel about it is that people who come from one parent household, I think that it's important because a lot of children are coming up in this type of environment. I mean, look at me. Like I'm my age and I'm not married. I don't have any kids either, but I'm not married. So it's almost like one of those things where it's like it's becoming more acceptable to not get married as a young person, as a super young person. And I just feel like for the kids who are coming up in these environments, I think the most important thing is people need to learn how to co-parent. So there are still two parents in the child's
Absolutely.
life, even if they're not together, you know? But so many times, like somebody doesn't want to deal with the other person, so the child loses out on a relationship with a person who is half them in a way. You know what I'm saying? So I think that in our community, we can definitely work a little bit more at becoming two parent households, even when the parents aren't together. Oh, what's somebody saying?
Absolutely.
It's a comment. I can't see. I got astigmatism. I'm gonna be all up in the camera.
Yeah, I'm just posting up their comments too as they coming in. People just saying
Okay.
good morning, happy new year.
Good morning. Happy New Year, everybody.
Yes, good. Happy New Year's, Miss Tracy. But
Hey,
no, I
y'all.
definitely agree
Hey.
with you on that too, as far as that co-parenting thing goes. Like even if parents that aren't together, you still can co-parent. So you have both parents in your life. Like that is very important. Like I grew up in a single family home. Like my mother
Mm,
raised me and my sisters and brothers, with the exception of my stepfather, who
mm.
is my brother's father. And he
Okay.
actually was a male figure in my life at
Yeah.
9 years old and beyond. So
Yeah.
I did have him in my life as a male role model, as well as I had several uncles and my grandfather. So I had
Mhm.
male role models in my life, but as a child that came from a single mother household, I always wanted that relationship with my father. So I
Yeah.
know a lot of you guys who do know me, and y'all know that I'm the type of person who I couldn't say the word father without gagging. Like I literally would
Mm.
gag every time I would say father. Or
Mhm.
if I was to reference my father and his name in the same sentence, it was like pulling my teeth to try and get me to say it. I would
Yeah.
not say his name in that word together. And I
Yeah.
never ever called him my father. I've always called him by his surname, Jimmy. So
Mhm.
that was always a struggle for me because I had no relationship with this man. I barely know anything about him. We did live with him for a very short period, but that's
Mm.
another story for another day because I'm not going to go into that because that's personal. But
Listen,
I
I
didn't have
understood.
that father that I wanted in my life, but I had to look around and see that I still had father figures in my life,
Yeah.
whether it was
Yeah.
my uncles, my grandfather, my stepfather. So I did have at least that father figure in my life at some point or in some
Yeah.
degree.
Yeah.
But of course, as a child, you want your biological parents, especially if they're still here on this earth with us. And
Yeah.
that was one of my biggest struggles that I dealt with growing up. And I think it caused me a few complications in my life. And I'm a little unstable on certain things because I don't know how to do certain things as what we think a man should know. Like I feel like all boys should definitely know how to change a tire.
Yeah.
Quick story, and it's embarrassing because when I had my first flat tire in Vegas, I was in
Mm.
the car with Chanel and one of my other male friends. Now, mind
Mhm.
you, we're two males and a female in the car. But it might as
Right.
well have been three females because we did not know. And sorry, because females know how to change the tires, so don't get me wrong.
Yeah. I was gonna
But at this
say.
point, it was three females in the car because none of us, we all looking at each other like, okay, what do we do? Like
Mhm.
neither one of us knew how to change a damn tire. I didn't even know what you call the thing, the axe, to get the tire off the car. Then I didn't know you had to jack the car up first. So I
Yeah,
was
you gotta
like,
jack the
oh,
car up.
right.
Yep. Mhm.
So I was like, yeah, first you got to jack the car up. Well, first, actually, it's a step before that. You got to loosen the nuts.
Yep.
Then you jack the car up.
Yep.
So I learned how to do this stuff. And I learned from one of my friends' father. And this was a
Mhm.
white guy. I lived with them for a while. So I got to learn a few mechanic things because that's what
Mm.
his father taught them. He taught them how to rebuild cars. You know,
That's
he
what's
taught me
up.
how to change my brakes, how to fix the vacuum booster on my car, do my oil
Mhm.
change. Well, no, my oil change, my little cousin Shoshana, which is a female, she showed me how to do oil change. So thank
Mm.
you, boo. Love you. But it's
I
always
know
some
that's
things that
right.
I feel like fathers are should be there to teach their kids, whether boy or girl. Like it's things that
Mhm.
a father should that be there and should be teaching their kids. And unfortunately, I didn't really get that part growing up, so I had to learn a lot of this stuff later in life.
Mm.
But we figured it
Mm.
out. But we was on the side of
Of
the road for
course.
like an hour for a simple flat tire. So I was just like, as I think about that now, I'm like, oh my god, it was something so simple. But even I didn't
Listen.
have that small bit of knowledge, and that's why it's really important for us as parents or the elders to pass down
Yes.
knowledge, which is what I
Yes.
was going to go into. Like we really need to make sure we're passing down knowledge,
Yes.
not just changing tires, but financial knowledge. We need to
Yes.
pass down, all kind of recipes.
Yes.
Now I'm lucky on that part. Now I had a mother; she taught me
Yes.
how to cook. My grandparents taught me how to cook, so I had
Hey.
cooking down pat. Like I can cook like it's no one's business when I want to.
Mm.
So I love that, but I want to make sure that I'm instilling values in my kids, passing down knowledge that's going to help them be better adults. So that way it gives them a boost in the leg up. And also I want to do something what we call in the other communities is generational wealth. We need to pass
Yes.
that down too.
Yes.
And that's why I'm learning how to get into real estate. I'm learning how to, create my business to be a thriving business. That's something I can pass down to my kids and they can keep passing it down to theirs if we do it right. So I
No, you
remember a
have to.
time,
Yeah.
oh yeah, and I remember a time in school, we were supposed to do a 5-year plan of
Mm.
what we want, how we wanted our life to be in 5 years and plan it out. I came up with a 200-year plan. Now I went to a suburban white school.
This
Do
man
you know
said
my
200 years.
teacher?
Hold on.
200 years.
Look, 200 years. You know what? I appreciate that because you know that you're planning for after your lifetime.
Exactly.
I give
Because
it
I
to
know I'm
you.
not going to be here, but what plan am I leaving for my kids to follow?
Yeah.
What guidance am I leaving to them? And the thing about a 200-year plan, is that you planning for certain things to be revisited and restructured because it's not going to go as you plan because you don't know what's going to happen between the time you die and you're gone. So the
Yeah.
plan for the 200-year plan is to always revisit the plan and adjust as needed.
Yeah.
So when she told me that I can't make a 200-year plan, I just looked at her like, you failed in life, Melanie, because you can make a 500-year plan if you wanted to. You don't have to have just a 10-year plan, a 5-year plan, whatever. You can plan out 500 years, even if you know you're not going to be here. I know I'm not going to make it to 500 years old, but I have kids, and I know that they're probably going to have kids, and I want to pass down a guidance. The guidance is just like a Bible. It's
Yeah.
a Bible. The Bible is a guide for how to live your life, and they just give you some basic structure. So
Yeah.
that's basically what I created. I created the Bible for what I wanted for my kids to learn and be passed down and how to keep things going.
Yeah.
But I always reminded them to revisit the plan and adjust it as needed for your times. Because it's
Yeah.
definitely going to be a different time 500 years from now, 200 years
It
from now.
definitely will. I mean, it's a different time now from 2019,
Exactly.
from 2020. Like, it's definitely
Absolutely.
a different time. Things happen in life where things just change, and we're not always prepared or ready for those changes. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I definitely just want to say that people can't get it twisted though, that just because you have both parents in the home that you don't really like both parents. Like, me and my father had a very, very contentious relationship, unfortunately. But these are the things that you're dealt with, you know what I mean? So I just feel like what we have to do is try as much as possible to adapt to the situations that we're in and let ourselves know that whatever it is, we're going to be okay. Especially like if you get therapy.
Right.
I ain't gonna lie. I love therapy. I talk to my therapist. I let her know everything. But my therapist is also like a 45, 50-year old black woman too. You know what I'm saying? I don't just be spilling my guts to everybody, but she's somebody I can relate to. Her father was a police officer, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So
Right.
she helps me deal with a lot of the issues that me and him had. So definitely just want to say that I didn't know how to change the tire either. No, let me say this. I've never changed the tire by myself before, but I knew what was supposed to happen. And tell me why the people who put the lug nuts on my tire put it on with the machine. I'm backstage. Hello. All right.
Sorry.
No, you fine. You fine. So it was like, the lug nut, and it was like it was so tight on there, and it was raining. So I'm out there trying to move the dang on lug nut to loosen it. That thing wasn't budging. So I'm like, you know
Right.
what? It's time to call the roadside assistant. That's what they're there for, and I'm gonna call them, and this is what's gonna happen.
Exactly.
Where you go?
Oh, I'm here. I'm just giving the focus because you was talking.
Oh, thank you. I'm done now. Look, I'm like, thank you. Oh snap! But yes, um, but
But
I
yeah,
just
but
want
I
to
think
say
that's
that.
a good
No, go
topic
ahead.
that we need to start having more with our people in particular, like letting them know it's okay to seek out therapists when you need it. Like
Mm,
I'm a type of person who I went through a couple of childhood traumas, and because I never really dealt with it at that time, it did affect me in my adulthood. And it wasn't until I went to Olive Harvey, which is where I met Miss Queen, and I got into the point where I was having a breakdown, and I
mm,
actually went to go seek professional help, and I got a therapist, and I did it right there at Olive Harvey. So I mean, it's got so many resources out there for us,
yes,
and
yes.
I took advantage of that because I saw myself going into a downward spiral. Even though I had
Mm-hmm.
so much upward momentum going on the other side,
Mm-hmm.
but in my
Yeah,
personal side internally, I was in a downward spiral. But you couldn't
yeah.
tell that looking at me.
Right.
But that was the thing that I'm able to mask what's really going on inside, and I
Yeah.
hated that because it wasn't as good for my business or for my personal need because I wasn't dealing with the situation and I was letting the anxiety and the issues just
Mm,
build up. And if you don't do something, to get it corrected and get the help that
Yeah.
you need, it could
Yeah.
end tragically for yourself.
Yes.
I will say I
Listen.
definitely have been a part of the attempted suicide
Mm,
individuals, and it's
yeah.
not a good feeling because
It's not.
had I not got the help when I got the help, I probably wouldn't be sitting here on this live stream talking to
Right.
you all.
Right.
But it just takes you finding the strength to ask and go get help. Like
Yeah.
if you are sitting back and you need help, like don't sit back there and think that you're alone. Like
Yeah.
you're not truly alone. Ask for help. There are people and organizations out there that will be a listening ear. I
Yeah.
wish I had the information, but I will share those suicide hotline numbers and
Mm,
whatever resources that are available for that kind of stuff and depression, because that stuff is really real. And we've seen so many people lose their lives recently
yeah.
before this. So with that, I want you guys to make sure you guys get help. And if you know
Yes.
somebody who needs the help, provide them with those resources and those numbers,
Yes.
or be a listening ear. There was a time where, even though I'm going through all the stuff that I'm going through, it was always someone out there going through something worse. And I met that experience when I had met this lady. I'm not going to give out her business, but she
Mm-hmm.
was going through a really rough patch in her life, and she had contemplated suicide. And
Mm.
it was just like I had seen her one day, and she just looked so miserable.
Oh.
And I know people don't like when you try to tell people to put a smile on your face. I didn't tell her
Mm.
to put a smile on her face, but I did ask her genuinely, is everything okay? And
Right.
at first she was standoffish, and I just, was reassuring her that, if it's anything she's going through or, any problem that she having, just know it's going to pass. But if you need help, please go out there and get the help that you need. If
Yeah.
you don't know where to go, ask me. I can help you figure this stuff out. And just
Yeah.
because I was genuinely and organically just having this conversation with her, she opened up and let me know what was going on.
Mm.
And I was able to help her find resources so she can get the help that she needs. And for
Right.
me, I love to be able to be an asset to people. Like
Yes.
I know I have certain information that I have, and I'm willing to share it. I can't share it with you if I don't know that you need it. And that's
Exactly.
why we need to be comfortable, allowing people to know that we need help.
Yep.
Because I'm definitely the type of person who I don't ask for help
Right.
until like I'm at my breaking point, and we don't need to do
Right.
that.
No,
You
that's
should be able to feel
unhealthy. That's
comfortable knowing that you
unhealthy.
can ask for help at any time, not just when
Yes.
you about to hit rock bottom.
Listen,
So yeah,
let me tell you, I'm so happy that you went to school and that you got the counseling services, to help you, because I didn't get mine until I went to UIC. And it was crazy because my father had just passed from suicide. You know what I'm saying? He actually did
right,
commit suicide. And I went, so weird thing though, I honestly did not feel like I needed help. Like I've never really thought of myself as really needing mental services. So I kind of went there because I was a good student, like, but I did all my work like last minute, right? Procrastinator, kind of skipping out on class, but get the notes from somebody and make it happen, But
right.
what happened was I was like, man, maybe I'm gonna need an excuse for missing class or getting extensions on papers. So I'm gonna go to a counseling center and I'm gonna tell her that, which is a true statement. After my father's death, I never cried. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, something's wrong with that. So I'm like, okay, this would be my end to the counseling center. But guess what? That semester, I did the best I've ever done in college. Like the midterm was due in April. I was working on that thing in March. Like I
Oh
had it
wow.
done like way before. Like I would start on it and I was looking at all my classmates like y'all got papers to write, don't y'all? I don't. I finished that motherfucker last month. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely became like just a better version of myself. And
Right.
honestly, when school ended, I was so sad. But luckily now I found out that family members of CPD get counseling. So, and especially considering that the profession he was in, those people are known for committing suicide. You know what I'm saying? Police officers, first responders, and stuff like that. So it's one of those things where I'm like really happy now that I've started up. But I do want to let people know of a resource if you need mental health, but you can't afford it. I have this app because my counselor went on her little 2 week break, and I told her like, look, I got stuff that I want to work on, so I got this app. And she was like, okay, that's cool. Like, I'm not the only thing out here to help you, so I'm glad that you're taking the initiative. It's called Intellect. Okay. Intellect, Intellect, and it looks like it has a black and white raindrop on it. And basically, what this app does is it has you take a test, and it's made by psychologists. And after you take the test, they kind of let you know what your ocean score is. And I can't remember
Okay.
all of what the acronym stands for, but O is for like openness, the A is for like agreeableness, N is for like neurotic or something like that, like something to do with your like neurotic behavior. So all these things they kind of measure for you, and you can take different pathways that you want to work on. Like right now I'm working on anxiety and worry, stress, perfectionism, and self-esteem. So those are the four pathways that I have open, but they have stuff like, um like I'm trying to think of one right now. It's one of them is like, why I can't think now. I just had one in my mind and it just went away. But like procrastination. If you're a procrastinator, they can help you get on track with that. If you have different like if you I don't know if they necessarily have suicide, but I'm pretty sure they might have something in that app. I just haven't searched for it because,
Absolutely.
that's not something that's on my mind right now. But definitely things to help people out. It's called Intellect. That is what the app is called. I got my whole family on it. Okay. We got little Nerf guns to like shoot at each other now after Christmas. And I told them that Wednesday is the day that we don't shoot each other, but we have like a group family therapy where we talk about things that are in the app, or we listen to a track that all of us have open and we like listen to it together. Like we
Okay.
basically try to make sure that within our family dynamics that we are checking on each other's mental health. You know what I'm saying? So it definitely should be a family effort sometimes, depending on how close you are with your family. Like all these different things play a role in our lives and in our mental. And I just want people to know that just because you're grown and things have happened to you in the past doesn't mean that you're over it just because you're grown. It means that you might
Absolutely.
have suppressed it or pushed it down or haven't just really dealt with it, and it manifests itself in different ways in your personality and attitude. So I
Right.
definitely think that everybody, like my thing is with my therapist, I am an open book. I let her know everything. I give her context. I'm like, look, this is my problem. Let me know how to fix it because I really just want to become a better version of myself. That's it. That's all. So why am I going to
Right.
obstruct myself from becoming that? You know what I'm saying? So people have to start looking at therapy a lot differently. And I think that you're right. It's a conversation that we need to have in our community.
Absolutely. And I see Joanne Moore just commented, and she says this is a great conversation. Many people, even myself, don't look for counseling because
Mm.
many of us won't admit that we need the help until
It
it's
hurts.
almost too late. And that is a
Hmm.
very true statement. And my mother, that's who Joanne Moore is. She's
Hmm.
from the generation of, the 60s. So they
Hmm.
definitely have that mindset where, they don't really reach out for these type of services because that's not how they was raised. And you got to remember those generation of folks, they was raised from a different generation who definitely didn't know nothing about canceling and all that stuff. So that stuff wasn't taught to them. They didn't
Listen,
have certain outlets. So that's why we can't be too upset at some of our older
no,
generation because they didn't
yeah,
know.
they didn't
But
know.
now that we are in a different time and it's acceptable and it's okay for you to go and seek help and get that counseling service,
Hmm.
do it. And I love that
Hmm.
aspect that you said that you take your family into this arena and you all
Hmm.
heal together. That is really crucial. As a unit, as a family, we do need to come together and heal together because a lot
Yes.
of us are dealing with, anxieties and depression
Yeah.
and certain hardships that we have experienced in our own family, but we're not getting no help individually, and then
Right.
collectively we're not even getting any help. So it's
Right.
now time to go get that help that you need. And you don't have to feel like you're less than because you're going to
Hmm.
get help. Getting help
Yeah.
doesn't make you less than. That actually makes you stronger because that shows that you're trying to grow and get the help that you need to be better. And I really
Listen,
love and want people to take advantage of that.
you have to, because I mean, my thing is this: if you broke your arm, are you just going to sit there and let your arm stay broke, or are you going to go to the doctor and have them set it back in place? You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
it's kind of like the same thing. If your mental is broken, you're just going to sit there with all these, scrambling thoughts that start to affect you in your physical life. So it's like we have to be on the lookout for that. But let me say this about the older generation. I completely understand why the older generation, because I don't think that we as Black people really trust the healthcare system for real. And I think
True.
that when you have a bunch of people who don't look like you, who can't understand your life, then how can you relate to me and tell me about my issues? You know what I'm saying? So I completely understand. If there was a whole bunch of old white men rooting around in my brain, I wouldn't want nothing to do with therapy either. You know what I'm saying? But luckily, my first experience was with a Black LGBT woman who was probably in her mid to late 30s. So for me, I definitely felt like I didn't have to explain to her that type of uncle or that type of auntie or that type of grandma, because she kind of already knew, if not from her own experience, from another person's experience. You know what I'm saying? Close to her
Absolutely.
friendships, other family. So it's like, I just want to be able to say that I'm not saying that it necessarily has to be race based, but you definitely need someone who can understand your style of living. You know what I mean? So that's why
Oh,
we
yeah,
need
absolutely.
way more therapists and psychologists in the schools now. Like, if there's young people out there in college, like, I would definitely try to push them, like, go to that mental health field, because Black people need mental health services. And who better to do it than Black people?
Exactly. And that's another thing that's very key. A lot of the times people assume that Black people aren't in certain industries like mental health. Well, it's a company called Lotus Trauma Therapy. That's
Mm,
a African American woman owned mental health therapy
yeah.
um, therapist. I'm sorry, and it's like so many of them are out there, but we don't even know who they are, where to look. But we do have resources available to help you guys find these particular therapists if you choose and want a person of color to be your therapist, which is okay because that's your choice. Check out the blackmall.com because they have these listing of all the Black businesses that you may be looking for and want to support. And, if you want to try and help your own culture first, then that's a
Yes.
good place to go to. Of course, there's all other kind of um, websites that they have We Buy Black and all that stuff. So you can check out any of those places and find out that we do have these people in existence.
Yeah.
And if you're a type of person who want to get into that field, definitely go out there what you want to go for. Like,
Yeah.
don't be ashamed to say you want to be a doctor. Just because you're Black don't mean you got to be an NBA baller. Doesn't mean you got to go
Mm-hmm.
into the NFL. Doesn't mean you got
Mm-hmm.
to fit the stereotype that people are bestowing upon you. Because we
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of great African American people who are in every single field there is out there. We have scientists, we have doctors, we have people in the tech field. Obviously, we have people in the tech field. We've created so much stuff,
Yeah.
and what I really
Yeah.
love about that, which is why I brought it up, because Miss Shy FQ is going to be having this conversation with you guys next month. So that way you get to learn more
Mm.
about your history and learn about what we've done and how we've contributed to society. So
Yes. Let me
I'm gonna let
tell
her speak on
you.
that because that's her thing for next month.
Okay. So look, even in this month though, we kicking it off. Like, I am not playing.
Okay.
Like, one thing I want people to understand is that I am foremost a, I'm not even gonna say that part because people are not gonna understand it, but I am a Black Chicago millennial woman, right? This is who I am. And I speak from a Black perspective. That doesn't mean that I disrespect other races just because I'm Black. You know what I'm saying? I am a person who is proud of who I am, and I want to embrace and bask in the greatness of our people. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not gonna say, like, I don't like when people put superlatives on stuff when they say I'm better than or we're greater or anything like that, because I don't believe in that. If I'm great, I'm just great. Your greatness
Right.
has nothing to do with my greatness. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look
Absolutely.
at it. So to say that I am kicking off, as my campaign is queen, the year of Black History 2021.
There we go.
So, so let me tell you this. Somebody just called my name. So I was like, huh? Look, I'm sorry. I'm like, but yeah, so I just feel like yesterday, right, was Emancipation Day. It's not only New Year, right? It's not only Amani for Kwanzaa for people who celebrate Kwanzaa. It was Amani, the last day of Kwanzaa, and then we also have Emancipation Day, and it was Haiti's free day. You know what I'm saying? So this was the day that Haiti became free and independent nation. So with
Oh
that
wow,
all
didn't know
being
that.
said, yeah, right. Look, we got things to celebrate when it comes to the beginning of the year that just aren't the new year, and I think it's important. So, anyways, let me first Emancipation Day because everybody was like, "What are you talking about? What is that?" And so, let me explain. In September 22nd, 1862, Abraham Lincoln wrote the Emancipation Proclamation. And basically, this was a document or a speech that he stated that all the rebellious states, okay, only states in open rebellion who planned on succeeding from the nation to leave the United States. He said on January 1st, 1863, all y'all slaves is free, and I'm going to use my powers as president and commander in chief with the military and the navy to make sure that these slaves are going to be free. So that was the day. Now, that doesn't mean that the states who were in the middle and not taking a side, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They didn't have to free their slaves at that point, but only the states that were in open rebellion, which were a lot. I mean, Texas, Arkansas, Mississippi, Florida, Alabama, North Carolina, South Carolina, like Georgia. Did I say Georgia? Whatever, Virginia, all of them, and Louisiana. Like there were so many states that had who he basically called out like y'all some ops like and we're gonna free your slaves. So
Exactly.
that was that. So I think that that's an important day for if we're not gonna celebrate it, at least remember it.
Right. And that's what I really love about what you're doing. Your activism is such a great thing, and we need it because you're teaching people, about our history and not just the bad stuff, but you're teaching also about the good that came out of our society as well. So I do appreciate you, always sharing and updating us with that knowledge. So you guys, when you guys are seeing this Shy FQ on social media, don't forget to hit that follow button. Don't forget to hit that like. Check out her content. She's always doing something great and spectacular, and she does it in a, fun way. It makes learning fun. This is like going to school, but you want to go.
Right, exactly. Look, let me tell you what happened today. Martin Luther King went down to the South to start the voter registration drive today.
Oh wow.
January 2nd, 18, Lord Jesus, 1965. So yeah, like we got a lot of stuff coming in the works. And guess what, y'all? It ain't gonna be Martin Luther King Day this year. It's Martin Luther King week. Okay, we're gonna celebrate him for an entire week, ending the day before
Nice.
his observance of his holiday. I'm hosting a vision board party for all my friends. Anybody who's invited is coming for free. Right, you gotta pay. I'm sorry. Like, only the queen's best friend. Of course, Mr. Wells, you're gonna be invited. You know what I'm saying? But anybody who's not
Appreciate
invited,
it.
they gotta pay $10. I mean, it's not like it's crazy, but like we just want to put together a party because if he had a dream, I want us to have vision. I want us
Right.
to know where we see ourselves going. So definitely that will be Sunday, January 17th for the vision board party. I will post
Okay.
the event very soon. But yeah, so make sure you got your magazines, your poster board. If you want to, you can make a vision t-shirt, a vision wine bottle, whatever you want to post all your little dreams and stuff to, use it, because this is what we're doing. Like we are going to not be bystanders in our life anymore. We are going to take action. So just to end it up for you, what he was talking about in February, since we're doing a year of Black history, February, we are going to talk about inventors, straight inventors. Like every day of February is going to be about a specific inventor who did something to better our modern lives. So that's what February will be about because I feel like they try to cram so much of our history in this one little month. And it ain't gonna work like that no more.
Absolutely.
It's not gonna work
Like
like that no more.
let's give our ancestors the respect that they deserve. We don't have to fit the mold of just because they designated February to be Black History Month, meaning that's the only time we got to talk about Black history. We're Black
Right.
365, so we could talk Black 365. So that's
This
why I
this is the
love what you're
thing.
doing, because you're doing
Thank
this
you.
all the time, not just in these designated months, not just on designated birthdays. Like how y'all took Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday and just made that a whole week. I
Mhm.
love that. Like y'all just
Yeah.
said, no, we're gonna do this for a week. We celebrated it
Yeah.
for a week. We're gonna
Yeah.
speak the dream and we're gonna tell about the dream. So I love that stuff. So
Yeah.
and then again, Black people in general, we've always been a inclusive type of people. We've never excluded anyone. I mean, you could look at our history, and as you learn more about Black history and ancestry, Blacks always gave and did for others and invited
Yes.
others,
Yes.
regardless of your the color of your skin.
Right.
That's why when we say the race issues, we didn't create race issues.
No.
Race
Not at
issues
all.
was created by others. I'm not going
Yep.
to say it because it wasn't just Caucasians, but race
Enforced
issues are
upon
created
us.
by others who have this
Mhm.
stigmatism that they're greater than someone else.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we'll let them deal with that. But right now we're Black. We know we didn't create this, so we ain't got to focus on that no more. We're
Nope.
gonna still focus on us being great, and we're
Yep.
always gonna be inclusive because that's who we are. That's
Believe
how you
me.
know when you're a great being, because you can include everyone, and you don't have to overshadow someone else. We can give you the shot, the spotlight, because we already got the spotlight on us too. So it doesn't matter. So
Right.
I really appreciate like everything that I've seen you guys doing. Like we're building communities out there, regardless of what y'all see in the news. It's certain things that
Mhm.
y'all ain't gonna ever see on the news. And
Mhm.
not to quote Trump, because I ain't no Trump supporter, but that's fake news. If y'all ever knew fake news, that's fake news. If you only see the news focusing on any destructive type of commentary or content that's focusing on a
Mhm.
specific group, that's fake news. And that's the racism
Mhm.
stuff that we be talking about. Like you only want
Yeah.
to show the bad. Start showing that good too, because there's a
Yes.
lot of stuff that you guys haven't got to see that was going on right there in Chicago that y'all had no clue about.
Mhm.
There's been a
Yeah.
lot of organizations that's been started by Blacks and
Yeah.
that is doing stuff to help improve the communities, and y'all don't know
Mhm.
about it because they don't talk about it. It doesn't get the
Yeah.
media attention that it
Yeah.
deserves. And then, unfortunately, sometimes even when you go on these social media platforms, you don't even get to see those live streams or those that content because it's bombarded by other negative stuff that gets
Yeah.
pushed up in front of all the good stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why,
Yeah.
I do this segment because I want to highlight all that good stuff that they not showing and is not getting the, respect that it deserves. That's why
Yeah.
I brought Miss, Shy Q Queen on this show, because she's one of those persons that's out there doing a lot of good in our community. And she's a social activist for the cause. She's very inclusive. She doesn't, just stick to just our culture. She's across the board. She's
Yeah.
very fair. She's, very open. And I
Yeah.
love that aspect,
Thank
because
you.
that changed that narrative that, when you say you're pro-Black, that you're just for Blacks. It's like,
Right.
no, you're
Right.
not. We're pro-Black,
Right.
meaning we support our Black folks first and
Yes.
foremost, but we are
Yes.
able to go across the how you say that word?
The
Diaspora?
diaspora. Yeah.
Thank you.
Cause
And help
it's
other groups as well. But we are
yes.
going to have that focus on helping our community first, because right now it is time for our community to help
Yes.
ourselves first. We
Yes.
never say nothing when the Asian community helps out the Asian community. We never say nothing when the Latina community help out the Latina community. The whites help out the whites. And I'm not going to say Jews, because Jews is not a race. I don't know where people got Jews being a race, but the Jews is not a race, because Blacks are actually considered Jews. They're Hispanic Jews. They're white Jews. So I don't understand why people call Jewish, people certain things like as if it's just a race, but they're not.
Right.
It's a religion. But okay, whatever. But yeah.
It's
So
true.
I mean, we want to help our community too. Like it shouldn't be
Yeah.
any issues with Blacks helping
No.
other Blacks and helping to build our community up. So when we will say, negative stuff about pro-Black people, I'm like, no, don't feed into that negative bullcrap that
Right.
you hear people regurgitating all the time, because
Yeah.
it's just not true. If you just did your own little research, you'd find out. It's
You
just
have
like the
to.
situation, like I'm a big Black male. I'm automatically like stereotyped as aggressive, you know, uh, that I'm a target. I'm going to, try and hurt you. I'm going to try and rob
Mhm.
you.
Right.
And when you get to know me, I am so far from everything that you
You
thought.
are.
And it's just like, don't feed into the negative stereotypes. Learn for yourself. Engage with those, other people. Like me, I had a friend who was a whole racist white dude in Vegas. And the weirdest thing is because he's racist, I didn't let his racist behavior affect me. And
Right.
no matter what he did to try and antagonize me, I just let the shit go. I just kept
Yeah.
overlooking him, and I just kept,
Yeah.
still being respectful, because I don't have to be disrespectful just because you're disrespectful. You're not going to give me that negative energy, and I'm not going to feed into that negative energy. And what wound up
Mm-hmm.
happening, we started actually having conversations. He got to learn a little bit more about me and see that what he was taught, because this
Yeah.
racism to me is something that's taught, and it is a mental illness, because when you're taught something and you're only shown negative stuff, it will affect you mentally.
Yeah.
But as it was taught, you could be untaught. And he
Yeah.
got untaught. So he got banded from his little, white supremacist group. But he didn't
Mm-hmm.
care at that point, because everything that he was told about black
Taught.
people were very opposite. And the one thing
Yeah.
I don't like is that term black on black crime, because
No.
regardless of what the race is, it's going to be race on race crime. Because if you live in
Exactly.
a community dominantly Caucasian, the crime is going to be white on white. If you live
Mm-hmm.
in Latino community, it's going to be, how do you
Yeah.
say that? Latin on Latin.
Latinx on Latinx. Look, I'm like, but
And then it's just
I,
like,
I think that's
but they
important.
always
Yeah.
focus on black and make it seem like that's the worst thing in the world. Like, no, it's black on black
Mm.
because it just happened to be in a black community.
Yeah.
But you can go to any other
Exactly.
community, they have crime too. Like, I
Yeah.
lived in white suburbs. I've seen crime. I've seen robberies. I've seen people houses get broken into. And mind
Yeah.
you, a lot of robberies do occur with our other skin color folks. But y'all don't
Mm-hmm.
really hear about that much.
Right.
Or at least they don't
Right.
highlight that in the news. It's definitely reported.
Right.
Because you can go
Yes.
to any precinct and find out.
Yeah.
But it's just so funny that they always put the emphasis on the black race first. Like, so that's why we want to change our narratives. And if you just take the time to even speak to us, learn something about us, and not just keep believing the bull crap that you've been given, you will see the
Mm-hmm.
very opposite of a lot of that stuff that you were told.
Yeah.
So, like, it was a one lady who stated that, now she never had nothing happen to her from a black person, but it was
Right.
her mother who
Okay.
supposedly had gotten robbed or sexually assaulted by a black male.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that one incident, they labeled all black men as these
Mm-hmm.
offenders, and that they couldn't
Yep.
be trusted,
Predators. Yeah.
and you shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
give them the benefit of that. And like, she
Right.
literally did not like black men because of that. Nothing happened to her, but because that
Mm-hmm.
happened to her
An
mother.
experience.
And then
Yeah.
again, I don't know how true that was, because this lady is older than me, so that means her mother's older than her. So that means that was in a time where black people was already falsely accused. And
Mm-hmm.
there's, if I can't remember the name of that movie, I think it was Rosewood,
Mm.
when that white woman accused that black man of raping her, but it was actually the white man who raped her, but she said a black
Ooh.
man did it, and they didn't
Ooh.
find out until the end of the movie that it was that white man that raped that woman. But they ain't killed this man and hung and terrorized his family, all because of that white woman's lie. That's the stuff that you think that's so far and gone, but it's still happening today.
It still happens.
And we
Yeah.
need to cut that crap. Like, it's time for
Yeah.
everyone to wake up. It's time for people to stop believing these truths of these passed down folk tales, because
Yeah.
that's what these stories are now. These are
Yeah.
folk tales. These are not actual stories anymore. This
Yeah.
is bullshit. And I'm
Yeah.
sorry, because I don't like to cuss, but I call a
I
spade a
do.
spade. If
Look, I'm
you
like,
are
I
going
do.
to keep regurgitating the same untruth, then you're just feeding into the bull crap that's been passed down generation after generation.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to stop
Mm-hmm.
that. And it's not, when I say we, I'm not talking about we as blacks,
Right.
because we didn't start that.
We as
Within
people.
your racial group, you need to stop that. Like, you need to
Yeah.
see and wake up, because if we believed everything, like every white man is a rapist or a molester or a pedophile, because I
Mm-hmm.
mean that's what you see a lot of white people are into, or embezzlers, or quote unquote conquerors. Like, no, you
Right.
stole, you plundered, you riddled countries and places with disease and famine. That's nothing to be proud about. So,
No, it's not.
but it's the funny thing is that they don't speak on that stuff, but they speak about all the conquests that they've had, how they even improved and enriched other races and cultures, and how they, improved the savage natives. I'm like, no,
I'm gonna
you
put quotes
didn't.
on that. Quotes on
But if
that.
you want to say that,
Improve.
say that, because I really don't care, because we know the true story. But what I would like for them to do is start waking up to the bullshit and stop believing it. Like,
So, oh, okay. Go ahead. Go
no,
ahead.
no, you can go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that that's why it's so important for me with this year of Black History is because, hey, we're first of all, we definitely need to know our history. That's number one and foremost. But people need to stop looking at our history as if it is separate from American history. That
Absolutely.
is something that is so important to me. Like if you are white, if you are Hispanic, Asian, because I drove Lyft and Uber and stuff like that. And sometimes I would have people of different, ethnic backgrounds get into my car and, they make a statement like, where we're all immigrants or something like that. And it's like, hey, understood what you're saying. However, let me correct you because Black people have a very different experience in this country than any other ethnic group. Native Americans have a different experience in this country than any other ethnic group. So it's like, no, we're not just going to lump us all into one category and say, hey, we all got to try better because most people who are here from different countries are leaving their countries for better opportunities or to escape some type of war or, dangerous situation. So your
Absolutely.
experience coming over here, not to say that it isn't rife with struggle, because I think everyone goes through struggle, but it's a very different struggle than what Black people have to go through. And I just want everybody to understand that because I think what you were saying before is very important as far as you need to be able to understand each other. Like next year could be the year of Hispanic history, and we start to learn more about Latinx communities and how they've gotten over here and what's their relationship been like with the United States, and coupling that with our own traditions as well. Because I'm pretty sure most of us, if not all of us, have friends of different ethnic backgrounds, and I think it's time that we just stop putting stereotypes and prejudices on each other, and actually learn about each other as individuals. I think that becomes the most important thing because I'm not going to sit up here and say all Hispanic men do this. I don't know every Hispanic man out here. So how dare I make a
Exactly.
statement like that? That is not right. That's just not right. Because I don't want someone to say all Black girls know how to twerk. Because guess what? This one don't. Not this one. My cousin is always laughing at me every time. She like, no, you're moving your legs too much. And I'm like, whatever, shut up. That's how I do this. This is how I twerk. Okay.
You said this
My
is
booty
my
is
version
shaking
of
a
twerk.
little bit. Look, I'm like, it's shaking a little bit. Leave me alone. Okay. So that is like every Black girl doesn't know how to twerk. I don't. So it's one of those things like don't put your stereotypes on me. Don't assume I have kids because I don't. Like these are the types of things that I just feel like. But first, people, like you said, they have to wipe that whatever that learned behavior is, that racism, that learned behavior, they have to get rid of it. That has to be the first thing. You have to let that type of stuff go. So I really
Yeah.
can't wait to see what this year of Black history has in store for us. And I can't wait to start learning about other cultures and ethnicities as the years go on, because that is the most important to me. Because I could have been born any ethnicity. So I'm not going to sit up here and down anybody just because they're of a different culture. Like, to be honest with you, I'm going to be 100% honest. I don't, I don't I don't hate white people. I don't. I don't hate them. I think there's a lot of people of Black descent that actually loathe white people. I
Yes.
do understand that there's been some fucked up shit that's happened, that there is some ignorant shit that's happened, but I don't hate you. I will talk to anybody. I'll even talk to one of those Proud Boys. I don't care because there's nothing you can really say to me to really disrespect me because I'm a queen. So I'm not going to like get off my throne at people throwing stones to address people throwing stones, but I will have a conversation with you to educate you. But if you're not trying to get educated, then we're not talking no more. That's just the end of that conversation. I don't even have to do that.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So many people get caught up in like the emotional part of it, and I have actually learned to let go of that emotional aspect of it and kind of look more at the facts and how do we change our current condition. So now it's like, yeah, I'm hurt. Like people get mad about slave movies. They get mad. I don't get mad about this type of stuff no more. It actually gives me greater respect for my ancestors because I don't know what I would have been able to do if put into that situation. So I don't knock anything my ancestors have went through because I'm not ashamed of slavery. If anybody should be ashamed of slavery, it's Caucasian people. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have any like negative attachments or anything like that. It's just what it was. And now we're going to deal as people in the present, we're going to deal with the fallout of what our past is. And we're going to change it so our future is better. That's it. That's all.
Exactly.
Where you
No,
going?
and I definitely agree with
going?
that, and I'm so grateful for this conversation. We have hit the 1 hour marker, so we did go a little bit longer than what we anticipated. So, but that's okay. We've been talking for an hour, yeah. Usually we do this about 30 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes, but this was a great conversation that we was having. And I definitely want to invite you back because we're going to have more topics on this and other topics that we need to discuss. And I think this is a good place to discuss it. So, we're going to end this particular segment because I'm at my hour marker. But I definitely want you guys to make sure you reach out to Miss Shy Q Queen. I'm going to let you give them your social media handles and what it is that you do before we close out.
Okay, well, you can always find me on Facebook at Miranda Alexandria. My logo in the background here is definitely the logo on my profile pic. So that's Miranda Alexandria, Alexandria. Then I also have Instagram, which is Shy. Shy is in Chicago Shy. So CHIAF Queen. Okay. Basically you can find me there with Twitter, Shy AFQ. So forgive me, but I post more to my stories right now. So you have to check out my stories for all my content for real, because if you missed it for the day, guess what? You missed it. So I suggest that y'all definitely check out my stories. Because I post on stories more than I actually post. So check those out. I'm new to social media technically, so I'm still getting my feet wet with it. So forgive me, but interact with me, comment on, things and stuff like that, and make me be social because I'm social in person, but I'm not social on social media. So help me do this, people. Okay, so that's Shy AF Queen because I'm a shy as fuck queen. Okay.
There we go. So again, I want to thank you so much for coming in on this show with me this morning. Sorry about the delay in the start, but y'all 5 hours ahead of me.
Look, that
so
was
it's
my
like
fault.
really early in the morning
honest.
here.
You can put it on me. It was my fault. It's okay.
Oh no, never. It was my fault too, because I ain't gonna lie, I woke up late too. I just played it off with that text message.
Because I was like, I definitely texted him and like, hey man, let me know what's going on tomorrow. And I woke up, my phone was on vibrate. I'm like, damn, okay, that's what's up. I'm like, that's okay. It's okay. But we're here now. So that's what matters.
Exactly. So we're gonna end this show now, but I thank everyone who had chimed in, who watched, and who shared and liked the video. Thank y'all so much. And next week, we should be aired with Mr. Carlton. He is the pie guy. I met him a few years back. I got to try their food when they was on 93rd in Cottage Grove. Best food I've had on the south side of Chicago, hands down. I was very sad when their restaurant had closed up, but they was on to bigger and better things. So we're going to bring him back on, and you guys know him as the pie guy. He does catering services, but what I met him and like really love about him, and it's for something I can't have, but it's that caramel cake.
I was just going to say that. I was like the best caramel cake you will ever have, and I don't even like caramel cake. I don't like it. And I had his, and I was like, what is this, crack? Like, what is this? I like this. This is really good.
Oh, yes. Very moist. Got a good amount of caramel on there. It's not overbearing. Oh, my God. It's amazing. So when you guys get a chance, try it out. And I may buy a few and, send it to some of y'all so y'all can see what I'm talking about. But we're going to have him on here next week. Hopefully, I'm going to reach out to him today. And we'll see y'all next week. And we're going to bring Miss Shy FQ Queen back onto the show because I love this engagement we had today. And I want to keep talking about certain issues that is pressing on our community. And we're going to also try and bring in as well Tequila Shabazz, Cassiopeia of the Black Mall. These two women have also been, social justice fighters for our community. And I think we all will be in a great conversational space with all of us on that live stream. So I'm going to try and work that one out. I can do about 10 of y'all at one time, but that's going to be a lot of talking.
You know
But
it.
I
Yeah,
thank you again, Miss
they
Easley.
are
I'm
heavy
sorry,
hitters in the
Miranda.
game. Huh?
I said, I thank you again for joining me, but I'm going to go ahead and cut this video short today. Or not
Thank
short.
you for having me. Thank you.